This is a Skies of Conflict. Global Security Alert. We are coming to you live with breaking news of a major military escalation along the volatile Durand Line. A full-scale aerial offensive is now underway. We have confirmed that Pakistan Air Force fighter jets have crossed into Afghan airspace and are conducting a series of devastating airstrikes. This is not a minor skirmish. This is a coordinated and forceful response to yesterday's massive cross-border terror attack that killed dozens of Pakistani soldiers in North Waziristan. The situation is developing with extreme velocity, but here is what we know. At this hour, multiple squadrons have been mobilized from airbases across Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Our sources confirm the involvement of the JF-17 Thunder and the American-made F-16 Fighting Falcon. These are the premier multi-role fighters of the Pakistan Air Force. They are not being used for show. The targets are terrorist sanctuaries and training camps deep inside Afghan territory, specifically in the provinces of Khost and Paktika. These camps are operated by the banned Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, the TTP, which Kabul has been accused of harboring, despite repeated warnings. The operation, code-named Swift Retribution by our military analysts, began at approximately 0500 hours local time, just before dawn. The jets, likely armed with precision-guided munitions and laser-guided bombs, struck with shocking precision. The first wave targeted command and control centers and ammunition depots. Social media footage from the Afghan side of the border, though unverified, shows multiple large secondary explosions indicating successful hits on weapons caches. The political implications of this are immense. This is a direct strike on Afghan sovereignty under the Taliban government, which has consistently denied providing safe haven to anti-Pakistan elements. Islamabad has now drawn a red line in the sand, with fire from the sky. The Pakistani military has long warned that if the Afghan interim government could not control its territory, Pakistan would be forced to take matters into its own hands. That day has come. The timing is critical. This escalation comes amid already strained relations and a massive refugee repatriation program. The region is a tinderbox. The sound of jet engines now replaces diplomacy for, now we are monitoring Afghan air defense systems, but their capability is limited primarily to older Soviet-era systems, like the ZSU-23 4-Shilka radar, guided anti-aircraft guns. It is unclear if they have managed to engage any of the Pakistani aircraft. There are unconfirmed reports of anti-aircraft fire from the ground, but no claims of any aircraft being hit. The Pakistan Air Force would have planned this operation with extensive electronic warfare support, likely using their Dassault Falcon 20 aircraft configured for jamming to blind any ground-based radars. The initial strikes appear to have concluded, but this is almost certainly not the end. We are seeing a massive mobilization of Pakistani ground forces along the border posts, in Bajour and Mohmand agencies. Artillery duels have been reported for the past 24 hours, but the airstrikes represent a qualitative leap in the conflict. This is now a hybrid war with conventional air power being projected across an international border. The world is watching closely. How will the Taliban government respond? Their rhetoric has always been fiery, but their military capacity is limited. A direct conventional military response is unlikely. But they could unleash a new wave of proxy attacks through the TTP, plunging the entire region into a cycle of violence. The skies of conflict over South Asia have just become exponentially more dangerous. We are attempting to get official statements from the Pakistani ISPR and the Taliban's Ministry of Defense. The next few hours will be decisive. Stay with us. Welcome back to Skies of Conflict. We continue our live-breaking coverage of Pakistan's retaliatory airstrikes inside Afghanistan. New and more disturbing details are now emerging that paint a picture of a meticulously planned and deeply consequential military operation. We can now confirm that the airstrikes were not a knee-jerk reaction, but the execution of a long-prepared contingency plan. Intelligence from drones, both American-made Predators and Pakistani Barak UCAVs, had been monitoring these TTP camps for weeks, building a comprehensive pattern of life and identifying high-value targets. The trigger was yesterday's sophisticated assault on a Pakistani military garrison, an attack that used American military equipment left behind in the chaotic withdrawal from Kabul. The decision to launch was made at the highest levels of the Pakistani government and military. The JF-17 Thunder's aircraft, jointly developed with China, took the lead in the first wave. Their performance in this real-world combat scenario is being closely watched by international observers. They are the backbone of the PAF, and they have just been blooded in a new theater, but the star of the show was undoubtedly the F-16 Block 52 Fighting Falcons, equipped with the latest targeting pods and advanced standoff weapons. These aircraft likely launched from a standoff distance, their pilots never needing to cross the border in some cases to minimize risk. The weapons of choice appear to have been the GPS-guided JDAM and the Pakistani-developed H-series of precision-guided munitions. The damage assessment is still preliminary, but early reports suggest over a dozen TTP commanders and hundreds of their fighters have been neutralized. The camps have been described as utterly destroyed. The Taliban's response has been predictably furious. Their spokesperson has condemned what he calls a blatant violation of Afghan sovereignty and has vowed that the consequences will be severe. However, their military options are limited. They possess no air force to speak of, and their ground forces are ill-equipped for a conventional war with a professional military like Pakistan's. The real danger lies in asymmetric retaliation. We are already seeing reports of TTP militants launching rocket attacks on Pakistani border villages. The conflict is threatening to spiral. The international reaction is beginning to trickle in. We expect the United States and China to call for immediate de-escalation. Both powers have significant interests in the region, and neither wants a full-blown war between a nuclear-armed Pakistan and a Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. That is a scenario with no winners. The geostrategic chessboard is incredibly complex. This offensive also serves a message to India that Pakistan remains capable of decisive cross-border air operations despite the perpetual tension on its eastern flank. The professionalism and precision displayed today will be noted in New Delhi. This single day of combat has reshaped the regional security paradigm. The trust between Islamabad and Kabul is now completely shattered. The Durand Line is no longer just a disputed border. It is an active front line. The skies of conflict over these ancient mountains are now patrolled by jet fighters with orders to shoot to kill. The sound of explosions in Khost is a sound that will echo in diplomatic chambers for years to come. This is a new chapter in the long and bloody history of this region, a chapter written with fire and steel from the sky. We will continue to bring you live updates as this situation develops. This is Skies of Conflict.